Welcome, everyone. Come on in the room. Come on in the room to the Leaders Lead Up chat. We are excited today. We have a wonderful guest for you. So we're going to wait until people go ahead and start coming on in the room. We are live on YouTube, not Instagram, forgive me, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And so we are excited to talk a little bit about digital marketing. Hello, Christian. How are you? So glad you could join us today. Nineveh, that's my son.
Hey.
Yes, we are excited. Come on in the room, everyone. Everyone, for all of you that haven't heard about Leaders Lead Up yet, Leaders Lead Up has been a labor of love for me. I've wanted to create a platform like this since 2011, and now the time has finally come. And so these live streams are just one way to share leadership development, a leadership development experience with you, training with you. This is free training, really, leadership development training. But we also have paid events that you can check out on our website. We have Zoom events where we just come together and have conversations with our members. So our platform is open to anyone who would like to become a member, of course, who fits the requirements. So you can go out to leadersleadup.com, check out our membership page. If you're interested in becoming a partner with us, you can go out to our partnerships page. I believe it's under the About section of the menu, and check out how you can become a partner and all of the benefits that our partners receive by partnering with us. What did you say, Christian? I'm good. Me too. Oh, okay, great. All right. I'm still waiting for people to join. Can you check, Christian, for me, LinkedIn to see how things are going with LinkedIn? I'm checking some of the other platforms as well. Just giving people a moment to join us here. See, we're live on YouTube. I'm checking YouTube now. Let's see. All right. I see someone on YouTube. Going to also check Facebook at this time. If you're out there, let us know you're there. Let us know you're there. Share your name and where you're from. We welcome you. Share your name and where you're from. Typing this right now in the comments. Share your name and location. Okay, come on in and join us. We are excited today. Come on in and join us, guys. See, I want to also see, I'm going to Facebook now to check that out. You can check it out as well on your phone, Ninva, if you want.
You bet.
You can go to like our Facebook page as well to see if we have anyone in there joining us. We can reshare as well. I'm gonna share. Let people know we're live. All right. Okay. Hi, Linda. Linda
Hi,
from
Linda.
Chicago. You know Linda,
I
Ninja?
do. Yep.
Awesome, awesome.
We're family.
Oh, awesome, cool. All right, so I'm checking Facebook and then LinkedIn. We're going to share one more time on LinkedIn. Let's see. Let people know we're live. Oh, thank you for sharing, Dr. Turner. Let me see who else. I have a couple of people out here on LinkedIn. Let's see. Go to the page. All right. We are live. Posting there. It's always funny to see my face live on LinkedIn. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Where are we here? StreamYard. Okay, come on. Come on, everybody. Where are you at? Join us. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So what time is it now? It's 12:35. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and have Ninva introduce herself. I'm so excited to have Ninva Newman with me today. We used to work together at Rockwell Automation not too long ago, actually. And so Ninva has moved on to bigger and better things. And I'm so excited to have this conversation with her. So, hey, Karen, welcome.
Hi, Karen.
We are going to go ahead and have Ninva introduce herself. So, Ninva, I'll open the floor for you to introduce yourself.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jeanette. So I'm Ninva Newman. And as Jeanette said, we were colleagues together at Rockwell Automation prior to where I am now and what I'm doing now. But I am with Accenture Song, and the song part of Accenture is really our customer facing focus for Accenture. So when we talk about sales, service, marketing, commerce, and customer experience transformation, that's really kind of headquartered here in Accenture Song. And I am part of our Midwest team focused on our industrial client base. And so really working with industrial and automotive clients, kind of figuring out go-to-market strategies, omni-channel experiences, and all the things digital that they need to really engage and modernize their business and customer touch points. I've been with Accenture about 3 years now. And prior to that,
long?
yeah. So there's like COVID in the middle of it. So like, you know, that's like that time blur of a couple years there for everyone.
Yeah.
But, and prior to that, I was actually a client of Accenture's with Rockwell Automation. I spent 25 years of my career there, really working up and through the marketing organization. And my last about 7 years, I was the head of marketing. And I also led our sales channel and customer digital transformation efforts. So that's where I became a client of Accenture's and became familiar with all the great things they were doing, and decided at mid-career to kind of flip to the other side and see what the world of consulting is like.
I love that. So they kind of, I think they poached you. It sounds like they poached you from Rockwell.
I took a little mid-career, like, you know, a couple months break, which was awesome. And it was ironic because I took it knowing that I was moving into the world of consulting, and that would be a lot of travel and kind of time away from my husband and son. And then ironically, when I started, it was COVID. So I, was in this room for a really long time working as opposed to being on the road. But it was a great transition. It was a good change.
So help me understand a little bit about what song means. You know, I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I heard song, I was like, do they have a music division? I mean, I know that Accenture does a lot. I'm just like, what is that? What is that about? Why is it called song again? Did you explain that? Because I don't know if I heard that part.
Yeah, it's really about the promise of connecting people and technology and capability together and bringing that in concert with each other.
In concert
with each other, and really, orchestrating great experiences for our customers, and for how they are able to connect with their customers.
Yeah, hence the word song, I guess. That is so interesting to me. No, I thought that was interesting because I had interviewed a former colleague not too long ago who used to work for Fender. And so he talked all about the music industry and all the great work they're doing as well. And so, but I wouldn't have put it past Accenture to have a song division because they have everything, right? They do everything. So, but so the other thing that we talked about, and I'll move on to our questions, but we talked a little bit about your background. and how you ended up, where you are today. Can you share a little bit about that?
About the professional or personal side?
Well, personal, and then we can move into professional. Let's ease into professional.
Okay, great. So I think, when we talked and shared a little bit about my background, I'm first generation. Someone else, Linda, who's on this chat with us, is also Assyrian. And Assyrians are a very old culture. Kind of 600 BC was kind of the fall of the Assyrian Empire. So you think of like Babylonian and ancient cultures. My parents immigrated here from Iran in the 60s. So I'm first generation. And, kind of growing up, I grew up on the north side of Chicago, northern suburbs, and really had a great childhood, kind of in between of, really understanding and being part of our Assyrian heritage and culture, but also, growing up as an American kid. And so a really interesting background and experience there. And being part of, you know, a community and a culture that most people don't know about unless you're in pockets of Chicago or California or certain places like New York in the United States. There's a small population of us globally. So it's kind of an obscure, group that people
Yeah.
aren't as familiar with. But
Right, right. Wow. No, thank you for sharing that. And so, moving into, I mean, the role that you're in today, and honestly, the roles that you've played in the past, woman, I mean, minority, I mean, wow. Like you've done a lot and you've accomplished so much in your career in honestly a short period of time. You're not old. So
well,
so
thank
you
you.
you're not. I mean, you've done so much. So let's talk about, maybe some of the highs and lows of your experience.
I would say, and I talk about this a lot, that I didn't necessarily have like this really clear career plan and
Mhm.
path.
Mhm.
Like I said, I actually graduated with a journalism degree.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
my father, who was a surgeon, was a little, disheartened when I came home mid college and said, I want to change from pre med to journalism. You can imagine.
I love
Um,
that.
but I, really focused. I always loved writing, and I loved the process of learning and then translating like what I learned
Mhm.
to an audience. And so that really pivoted into marketing pretty easily. And so, early in my career, it was all about. I knew that I wanted to learn about a business I wasn't familiar with, an industry,
Yes.
right? And in news journalism, it's a lot about sharing kind of a high level of content across a really broad set of topics. On
Mhm.
the marketing side, you have the opportunity to dive deep into a business. And so I ended up in the automation business, which I just, in all transparency, didn't even really think about before I joined Rockwell.
Right.
Um, and so, it was a really great experience to learn all about how companies make products, how they
Mm.
process chemicals or oil and gas, and really kind of if you watch how it's made, right, that kind of
Yes.
show, and you get to see kind of the engineering behind and the processes behind how things are manufactured and made. That was what my experience was like at Rockwell, which was great. So it was continuous learning, continuous understanding of different applications and industries and solutions. Um, and it was an interesting vantage point for me being non-engineering by trade,
Mm.
by education and background, and surrounded with this awesome community of technical experts and domain experts that understand automation and engineering and motor control and all of the things that are related to automation. So that was kind of a unique background for me, which the highs of that was being able to bring a different perspective. Like I said, that translation factor of here's all the great things we've engineered into these products or technologies. Now let's translate that into what it means for customers. So I kind of got to
Yes.
play that role in that marketing function over time. The lows of it were being, in situations, whether it was customer meetings, whether it was internal discussions, product development reviews, where some of that tech was flying over my head, right? And I didn't have necessarily the same grounding of like fundamentals of engineering that a lot of my peers did. And so that would creep into my head at times to kind of make me, a little on edge or anxious about being able to, kind of participate as a peer and really compete. But it kept me on my toes. It
Yeah.
kept me in a continual learning state, like just being curious and asking questions and not being afraid to admit if I didn't understand something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I needed to be able to translate that to our customers and our partners and our sales teams that needed to activate. So,
Right. But I think, just like you said, so that was probably one of your biggest challenges overcoming, the fact that you didn't have that technical background, but you learned it, right? So
mhm,
you apparently built that credibility with your with your sponsors. They were confident enough in you to place you in that role,
right,
right? And then it just proves also that people that maybe aren't in the field of technology and are interested in pursuing it, there are opportunities out there and there are different roles that they can pursue. So all is not, right? This is Nim's
yes,
story, and you can follow suit. Everybody has the opportunity to pursue the career of their dreams. I mean, look at me. I was in technology, pivoted to government, education, nonprofit. you know, I think the thing that helped me is having that technology background. It just broadened my horizons and opened up the doors of opportunity to so many different industries, just having that background, because technology is everywhere,
right.
and
That's
it's
right.
only growing, right? It's only growing, it's getting bigger, it's getting better. And so I did want to talk a little bit about just what digital marketing is all about, because there are some people that have no clue. You
Hmm.
know, we talked a little bit about the other day when you and I were chatting before the interview, we talked a little bit about um establishing a digital footprint for a customer, for example. Some
Hmm.
people don't know what that means, but
Right.
it's huge. But they do know that when they go and they shop on a Macy's site, Macy's comes up everywhere they go, right? When they're surfing the web, it
That's
comes
right.
up in Google, the ads are everywhere, and they're getting notifications like crazy when they're in Facebook and on other social platforms. Can you talk a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you know, in the marketing leadership roles that I had, you know, was really focused around transforming the way that we communicated with customers, engaged with customers, found new customers, enticed them to respond and interact with us so that we could build relationship and rapport. And that took a whole different turn
Mm,
in my career, right? In
yes,
the
yes.
past, it was very, very brand and company led. So it was
Mhm,
all kind of outbound marketing, mass communications or mass marketing. So, as a company, you could kind of put out in the market what you wanted to be known for and how you wanted to be
mhm,
perceived. While individual customers had experiences with companies at a mass scale, your reputation was kind of what you branded it to be to some extent.
okay.
And in that period of time, the last 15, 20 years, things like social media came on board, where I
Mhm,
always say, everyone becomes an author, everyone becomes a critic, everyone becomes a photographer, a videographer, whatever, a content contributor. And ultimately, consumer and customer voices have a much bigger impact on the company's reputation
yeah,
and their presence in the market. And so that meant that we had to really change and at first add digital capability. And what that means is how did we, you know, ensure that our online presence was relevant and activated for engagement, not just a one way kind of billboard about what we do and what we say about ourselves, but allowed for more interaction and engagement. That we could use digital means, and we do this with clients all the time, use digital means to um, get a much more personalized experience out into the market and allow customers to see a really relevant interaction with a company. So, as an example, As shoppers today, like you said, you go and you do some research online about something you're looking for at Macy's, was your example. And then, like you said, it follows you around as navigate across sites. Well, on the B2B side, which is really where I focus, business to business, think about when you're doing business on behalf of your organization with a company. There is a level of expectation that you know who I am, you know what business we're in together, and you will provide me with relevant and value-based content and experiences that help me do my job, right? And so that requires a high degree of connection of data and context and background, history, experience, transactional background, all of the things that are required to really create and deliver a sustained personalized experience. And so marketing at one time was a lot about outbound. Over time, it became much more interactive back and forth between customers, channels, and companies. And when we talk about digital today, the lines around what's considered digital marketing and what's just digital experience transformation have blurred a great deal. So what I see a lot with clients today are marketing leaders like I was in my prior role, that are starting to have to navigate or kind of quarterback, organize all of the customer touch points across not just outbound marketing and trying to find new customers, but also their experience with service, right? Their post after sales support, their loyalty program. So that definition of digital marketing has really expanded over time. And it becomes, like you said, digital becomes a part of how an organization at large is doing business, whether that's supply chain, whether that's operations, whether that's finance, human resources, you name it. Digital is an activation piece of all of that, from an employee experience, from a customer experience, and from a channel experience.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. And the data analytics that comes from it, that's derived from that work, is just phenomenal, right? You use that for decision making across the entire company. And so, yeah, I love it. And so, again, we know that you've been on this amazing journey with your career. But what I see in you is just this sense of peace, and you're just so pleasant to be around. You have a wonderful smile on your face at all times. And so there's
Almost all
something
times, yeah.
you do most of the time. Every time I see you, it must be me bringing it out of you.
That's right. It's all about you, Jeanette.
But no, I mean, what I see in you though is just a sense of peace and calmness. And whenever I'm in your presence, I feel that way. So what is it that keeps you so centered, Ninva?
Oh gosh, that's a really big question. I
It
would
is.
say, I think that early enough, I think professionally speaking, and we can talk about the personal side too, but professionally speaking, so early in my career, things were changing so quickly and there was so much unknown, right? I remember, like, as an example, us as a company trying to navigate, do we open up social media access to our employees? Or does that just, this was early in the days of social media, does that just entice a bunch of like time waste, right? Where people are just going to spend all of their time on Facebook.
Right.
MySpace, if you remember that,
Yeah.
those platforms back then. And so there were just multiple and kind of continuous situations where we had to navigate through an unknown dynamic. And so early enough in my career, I realized that we weren't going to know all the answers always, and we weren't always going to be right. And I remember, as an example, laying out a digital transformation roadmap, like kind of the path forward for 2 to 3 years. Here are the things that I think we need to focus on as a business in order to digitally enable our go-to-market. And, one of the stakeholders asked, well, why don't you have a 5 to 10 year roadmap? And I said, well, honestly, if I had a 5 to 10 year roadmap, you should kick me out of the room, because there is no way anyone can predict 5 years out, especially
Mm,
when
mm,
concerned. So I kind of had to get really comfortable with ambiguity and trying to make sure that myself and the team would make the best decisions we could with the information or the trends and the insights we had at the time, but also be nimble enough to adjust and agile enough to change course if we needed to.
mm.
And so if you try to control it all, if you try to predict it all, if you try to have a sure proof plan that you put in place and you don't touch and you just execute on, it's not going to work. So
Right.
that comfort with ambiguity became just kind of the way I had to work. And that went both, in the work that we were going to focus on as a team,
Mm-hmm.
also the team itself, right? What roles were we going to need? What kind of talent and skills did we need to bring in or partner for? What would the workforce of marketing look like in the next 3 years? Some of which we could predict and drive towards, and some of which we had to learn and adjust over time. And that meant, what tools did the team need? What skill development did we need to invest in? What new talent did we need to bring in? What new
Right.
opportunities could other people pivot to that we hadn't predicted they would want to in the past? So again, that kind of being fluid and agile enough to adjust, I think, meant took a little bit of the anxiety of the exact future state off my plate.
Mm. And so I mean, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies?
I mean, I love music. It's probably my biggest enjoyment is listening to music, singing with friends in the right circumstances.
So
Um,
you sing? Just so can you
I mean,
sing now,
I've
guys?
never taken a voice lesson in my life, so I'm not singing for you on this.
Ah,
Too early in the day.
we'll
Uh,
have to do karaoke one evening then.
that's right. That's right. I'm game for that. But I love, I do love music. I love reading. I love writing. So, definitely I would say, I had, and a lot of my job is really technical in nature.
Mhm.
And obviously super business oriented. And my hobbies tend to go kind of try to pull out a little bit more of the creative juices where I can, and kind of get that experience that way.
I love that. I love that. Do you golf, by the way?
I mean, do I have a set of clubs? Yes. Would I ever call myself a golfer? No.
No. Okay.
I will do it,
Got it.
but it's much more recreational than it is competitive for me.
Right, right. No, same for me. Same for me. I used to be really competitive when I used to golf every week, and so now I'm just getting back into it. And so I have to. Right now, it's all recreational. At some point, I'll get back to the rhythm of going every week, and really working on that swing. But I've totally lost my swing. So
Well, my brother is like a scratch golfer. He's an amazing golfer and always has been,
wow.
and caddied as a kid and all of that. And I remember him telling me when I was getting into the business world, he's like, "You're going to have to learn how to golf." And so I remember going to the driving range with him once, and he was like, "I don't know how we look very much alike," but he was like, "I don't know how we're related. Like you've got no jam going on with golf." It was
Oh
pretty
my
fun.
goodness.
But I
No,
tried. Try.
no, I know. My son is excellent. He's an excellent golfer. I actually, I started taking him out with me when he was 12 years old, and he ended up on the varsity golf team and all the things.
Oh
Yes,
wow, that's
I
great.
know. Yeah, he's really great. And then, so anyway, I'm the one who got my whole family into golf, except for my youngest. My youngest can't stand golf. So, but I digress. We'll have to go out and have fun and play golf one day after work or something.
There you go.
But okay, so the last question, because man, I can't believe it's already almost 1 o'clock. We've been talking, oh my goodness, for 30 minutes already. So the last question is really about leading up
Hmm.
and why this is so important to you. I know that there are people out there that you mentor, you've been a mentor for a while, and you probably have several mentees, and those that probably that you still mentor even though you've left your previous companies. You probably still have people following you as you go and as you climb. And so, why is it so important for you to lead up?
I'll give you the earliest feeling of that I had and kind of how it's carried with me. But I remember being a senior in high school. I was like 16 years old. I was kind of young in high school. And I ended up I did forensics. So if you're familiar with forensics, it's like extemporaneous speaking and, other kind of
Yes.
drama like, but, more on the speaking front. And my senior year, I ended up as like, one of the leads of our forensics league, which was a super competitive league. And I had this sense of responsibility all of a sudden, which I think kept me out of trouble, frankly. I wasn't that like dangerous of a kid. It was kind of mouthy, but that was about it. Um, but it kept me like, I felt the sense of responsibility for like the younger students that were part of that organization. And I kind of had this sense of responsibility to kind of act and behave in which we would want them to act and behave. Right. And so I kind of carried this little extra sense of like accountability with me. And I would say throughout my career, I've had great people that have mentored me and partnered with me and coached and given really good hard feedback sometimes where it's needed, and inspired me at other times. And I have always benefited from that. And I've always enjoyed helping others, like figure out a new path or a different way to tackle a problem, or have belief in themselves to do something that just because you haven't done it before 5 times perfectly doesn't mean you can't attempt it and learn in that process.
I love that.
And so for me, I feel like as whether it's, as a marketer in an industry that is still learning and understanding the value of marketing, right? Industrial and, it's a tough road for a lot of us marketers. And, encouraging, inspiring, and trying to coach and guide others felt like always part of my role and part of my job, but also part of my mission as a leader, like help inspire and encourage and support others.
Yes.
And I'm a people person. Like I'm a, expressive. It's probably no surprise to you. And so, being able to like make those connections and relate and then help someone through something is just, it doesn't feel like effort to me. It feels like, it's just part of who I am and what I want to do. And leave things better than I found them, right? And help others do the same.
I love that so much. And that's why you're my friend. So much alike.
That's right.
Our missions are very similar. And so I've so enjoyed you today, Nimba.
Me too.
I appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation with me and to support Leaders Lead Up. I know you're going to go on to do bigger and better things, and we'll definitely continue working together. And I know we're going to do great things together. I'm excited about collaborating with you. And so, yeah, I would love to have you back at some point as well.
Sure thing. Absolutely. I'd love to.
This was great. I'd love to dive deeper into the topic of digital marketing and maybe even get a little more technical. So
you got it.
Thank you to all of our guests that have joined us today as well. I don't see any questions in the chat. But I do appreciate all of you that have joined us, and we thank Ninva once again. And until next time, we'll see you next week. We actually have a panel discussion with 3 amazing tech leaders. You can go out to our Leaders Leaving Legacies LinkedIn page or Facebook page and YouTube page to check out those leaders and to learn more about them. You can go to leadersleadup.com, our events page, to learn more about them, to read their bios. And if you have any questions for me, you can also reach out to us at support@leadersleadup.com. If you're interested in membership, partnerships, feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have. I think, okay, Arcana, do you have a question? Oh, she says, hi, Karen. Oh,
people are talking amongst themselves.
They're talking amongst each other. They're shouting out to each other. You're welcome, Arcana. She's so wonderful. She's such a great follower. She's joined us for all of our events.
That's great.
This has been great. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy your afternoon. Have fun out there. It's beautiful outside. I'm going to actually go take a walk after this and enjoy the weather. So we will see you, Ninva. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.